very hardcore when it comes to their experiences, specifically mentioned like Tarkov, which has been a direct competitor for Marathon, and we see a lot of information about Tarkov players and streamers get early access to get a chance to play Marathon early and provide their feedback. And from early access information, what we heard, that a lot of those Tarkov players did not seem very interested in how Marathon played. Not a very good sign when you're trying to get those people to jump in from that game over to yours. But of course, a top commenter did state here that even Tarkov players don't like Tarkov, which can be very true. But for the general public, including myself out here, that we haven't really had a chance to actually get to look at how Marathon actually plays out. But it looks like that's probably going to change very soon, as it was recently provided with some insider information that Marathon announcement expected in April of 2025 with its own showcase event, as it's claimed from Jeff Grubb, who is a rather credible insider. Quoted saying Marathon wasn't here as in the state of play for Sony recently because they're probably going to do their own thing. Bungie does their own thing usually for Destiny. They're probably going to adopt the same, we're going to talk about the game to our audience strategy as well for this year. I think April is when we'll probably hear from them about Marathon, which would kind of make sense, right? Really just because Bungie kind of plays by their own rules. They've had such huge hits with Halo and Destiny that they can kind of separate themselves from these major updates like a Sony State of Play. Because very similar to Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto, you just put Bungie next to it and people instantly get very excited, because even though how much trash you might give Destiny 2 right now, people still like how Bungie games play and are very interested to see what Bungie's take when it comes to a sci-fi element, when it comes to an extraction shooter, and even then they're looking to evolve it in a certain way to make it sound interesting and unique. So what can you expect in this presentation coming around very soon for us? Well, one, I would say hopefully some gameplay. I would be shocked if you don't get anything, especially since this game's been in development for so long. And also, I would get more information about all the different classes that are involved with it, the gameplay mechanics, the open world, shared world mechanic that they're looking to do with Marathon. You know, it's soon some announcement when it comes to like an open beta or open alpha type of experience, as they have hinted at this previously. You can sign up on their website to become like an insider information kind of person, or at least get access to Marathon a little bit earlier than the general public. I would assume also something like that, as well as it just tends to be a thing that Bungie does now. They did this back with Destiny 1 and even a little bit with Destiny 2. And ultimately just show rather than tell, which we've been told about Marathon quite a bit from Bungie. We just haven't seen anything of it. I would also expect a release window. I would say most likely during the summer of 2026. We'll get to that a little bit later. But what's the current state of the game? Because we've had this game announced back in 2023, and we've seen basically nothing of it since. Besides this October update that we got from Joe Ziegler, who recently became the game director for Marathon because of certain issues with Christopher Barrett being let go and now suing Bungie, so it's having its own external issues besides just making a game in the first place. And to be honest, I felt like this video felt more like a ransom video of like, hey, we need to talk about something right now when it comes to Marathon. And they're like, well, we don't really have anything to talk about or show, and so let's stretch it out to make it something that would be somewhat informative for the player base. Like all we got were a couple screenshots of the thief and the stealth character that's currently in the game. But again, no actual gameplay. And it does look like the original promise of having a fully customizable character to make into your own build has changed in that development, where now it's becoming more of a class-based / hero shooter kind of game, which definitely feels like a downgrade from the original promise of the game, but if it helps speed up the process to get the game out, it might clean things up for balancing reasons. So I leave it up to the developers to make that decision, but I do feel like having a class-based / hero shooter system in the game just kind of generalize it a little bit and make it feel a little less unique. And if this game is going to release in 2025 and you're still trying to put the game together at this point in late October 2024, then I wouldn't be surprised if we see it get delayed later on. Because even in this video, it did state how various parts of the game are in various different states, which is standard when it comes to game development, but saying like back in October of 2024, saying a variety of different states, as in like the world is coming together nicely, right? But saying the character models are not fully there. Enemy models are in a very early state. And to quote Ziegler in this video, there are many items that are yet to come online. And if you're in your last year of development when it comes to a game like Marathon, it needs to be more about polishing rather than just still trying to put the pieces together. So with this upcoming showcase, again, that has been rumored but not confirmed by Bungie themselves, but likely going to happen before the big showcases in June when it comes to Xbox and Sony and all the EA and all these other publishers out there, because Bungie needs to give themselves enough time to be able to present the game without being lost in the mix of everything else. So it would make sense for a company like Bungie to present in, say, like April or May, right before the big showcases in June. This is where I think we'll actually get some gameplay and also a release window, I would assume, when it comes to this game, which I would fully expect this to be like a summer 2026 release. Because the publisher, Sony, does have this at a discounted price at $40 rather than a free-to-play model, similar in vein of what we saw with like Helldivers and Concord, but obviously I'm hoping for a better experience for Bungie and Marathon compared to what Concord had to deal with, but a similar type of pricing model with a live service multiplayer game for $40. It does sound like Marathon is in a rather playable state right now, though, because you wouldn't bring in influencers and streamers to come in to play the game when you're still trying to figure out like what exactly goes into the game. And as an online personality, I have personally taken part in early access of different builds and games to provide feedback as, I guess you call it, an influencer. I am in the credits of Halo Infinite, which is kind of one of my biggest achievements ever as a YouTuber. When those games would get to that state, they pretty much have all of their ideas put together, what they want to have in the game, and it's more about the fine-tuning of how long should ailments last, how long does this feel, does the TTK sound about right, the fine-tuning of the knobs and now trying to figure out, does this character even belong in the game? So maybe Ziegler was more referring to that the minute details of how long things last, different ailments and things like that, the fine-tuning that really makes a big difference when it comes to a game like this. I'm also assuming with this presentation we'll probably get a new dev diary kind of video because the original one was actually taken down from their YouTube channel because, for obvious reasons involving Christopher Barrett. And this developer update here, I would say, left a lot to be desired and actually probably proposed more questions than provided answers. But I would say it's definitely about time we get some official information and actually just some form of gameplay, some 3D modeling that we can see, like, yes, that's what we want from Marathon. If you made this far in the video, I hope I earned your like, maybe even a subscribe. If you want to see the real ones that I made to the end of the video, leave a green heart in the comments section, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.
By the Shadow Legion fleet.
Triage is standing by to receive the captives. We're ready.
Nah, I ain't giving you shit. You fucking fuck. I'm like, damn. Let me do that shit, fuck. That's my shit, man. Just do it like that. Yeah, so bad. Look out my phone, Okay, ain't my shit, so I'll be throwing sugar dose till I die. Please, there'll be some, yeah. There'll be some, yeah. I'll tell you, man, some of the best times I know. It'll be the devil. And what die, yeah. Look at every time, bro. I was there, I wanna go. I wanna go to the zone. I'm way all over bay, I say, when I say, when it's over, get it in, I probably never wake up from my day, man, I'm gonna give you time, I'm giving you some, I'm gonna say, you gotta put that to hold tonight, but it's where I gotta be by myself on the ground whenever I say I'm crying, I find that I say, you guys need to know, please, I'm a man, I'm a tough guy, better believe, always, always. When you do that stuff, oh, punch bag, what you know about daggers and the lunch pads and my punch pad, and I punch my pad all day, and my knuckle pad like a phone, and fucking, I can't punch you no more, so you can come around me, I'll be dangerous, I believe, I don't say. I gotta inflate my ego for the assassin ego. I was watching this PlayStation video earlier. It was like the Defense Assassin. It was like this assassin game that was on PlayStation Extra. I was like, damn, that's some fun stuff. I was like looking at the way they made it. Oh man, I was like, That's like, what's better? Like, people actually play that game. Like, I should have reviewed it compared to, check the reviews compared to Assassin's Creed, because they had a bunch of Assassin's Creed games on there too. Like, oh man, I think I think one of my cousins used to get into Assassin's Creed. Was really like a PlayStation with PlayStation Extra or whatever premium. So they got a lot of games. Wow, they got a lot of games. He has the patience for that kind of shit. Dude. I have to be playing FPS if I'm playing a game now these days. I tried getting back into sports games a little bit. I don't know if I ever really can again. FPS is, I mean, it's just really good, honestly. It's just tons of fun.
Ghost
It's
stole
just
the
the most fun, I
schematics for the
think.
prison ship during
Not
your
that I want
attack.
a gun or anything.
We're in luck.
I'm not like
Our
into
missing
guns or
civilians
anything
are
like that.
nearby.
Head to the
I
hangar
just
bay.
think it's really fun
Looks like
to
that's where they're making
shoot
their
the shit
last
out of
stand.
shit. Every now and then try to, or every now and then, not like 3 days, 5 days out of the year. But let's see, if we start playing against DC again the next few months. I had to gain some blood. Going out to my family's ranch. Survey. The berries. Very fun. The survey, that's the part that I like. I actually like that. That's where like having good luck really matters. I guess if you're picking berries too, you don't want the berries to get pinched. Like, I need to figure out. I need to keep my karma really good, but I need to figure out how I'm gonna like split that stuff. I need to buy a wagon or something. Just get the easy ones at first. 'Cause there's so many. Like I can't go in thinking I'm gonna get all of them. That's what I need. I need to go in thinking I'm just gonna sample some shit and try and figure out the rest. I kind of want some more coffee soon. I had a glass of, actually, it was kind of like a big portion of iced coffee. Beautiful ice cream. I feel so sick after it. It's disgusting. I have these really bad. Right now, they said for like a month I'm gonna be sick or something. I need to be